The topic of this video is related to the insulin and diabetes. The metabolic regulation of energy is complicated in the human being. The insulin is one way that regulates energy. So the energy comes from protein, glucose, and lipid. So the insulin target not only glucose metabolism but lipid and protein metabolism. Insulin structure and where is synthesized. Simply, the insulin structure is is a simple protein composed from two peptide chains linked by disulfide linkage. Is synthesized, so the beta cell, so this the pancreas, there's a cluster of cells called islet of Langerhans in the middle. There's a beta cell that secretes the insulin. The healthy pathway for the healthy individual starts from the brain. There's a hunger center in the hypothalamus called hypothalamic feeding center that make us to have a desire for food. Then this goes to the second level of controlling is by insulin that control the distribution of glucose among the other cells. The abnormality of insulin, that's what happened in the diabetes, occur at the intracellular between intracellular and extracellular blood. We can expand on that later. Fuel metabolism pathways. I'm gonna make some sketch to clarify this concept. There are three main sources for energy: glycogen and triacylglycerol. Triacylglycerol. So this is a starch form for fatty acids. That means in the blood if there is a fatty acid, but when it go to the cell it's stored as triacylglycerol. The third source for energy is protein and degraded to the amino acid. So all these sources end up with acetyl coenzyme, then citric acid, and eventually we get ATP, the energy. Also, there's another pathway give us the ketone body. There's important thing. So this pathway is more emphasized or is a preferable pathway for the diabetes. So they realize this pathway and the diabetes is preferable that way, and this involves the important thing communicated between two tissue, liver, blood, adipose tissue. So this is the I can say the healthy pathway. So especially for the brain, the only source it relies is on the glucose. So when there is abnormality of the diabetes, there is shifting in the metabolism from the healthy way that is glucose metabolism to the lipid metabolism. So I'm gonna make another sketch to clarify this because it's important for with respect to the pathophysiology. So the pathway of the lipid metabolism among organs. So this is the stomach, this is the liver. Alright, so the food is going to processed inside the stomach, then goes to the intestine. So from the intestine, they transported the components of food that include the lipids, cholesterol, by the lipoprotein called chylomicron. This is one type of lipoprotein. So from the lipoprotein is going to be distributed systematically in the blood to other tissue. This include the most important adipose tissue and muscle tissue. Also go to the liver tissue. So what happened? So this, can I say this is the normal pathway? So there's more glucose in the food, so we need less for the degradation of adipose tissue. So the lipid is going to be go to store inside the adipose tissue. So this now. So what happened in the abnormality? That's what happened in the diabetes. There is no glucose. So the most important for the regulation of energy is depend on the glucose pathway. If there is no energy, no glucose as in the diabetes, so what happened? The body adapted to degradation the lipid stored in the adipose tissue to go to the via the blood systematically and then to the liver. So this is the pathway, the preferable pathway in the diabetes. So what happened then? So liver is a more dynamic process and it's going to produce more VL, DL, very low density lipoprotein, and then after that they produce this compared to the LDLD. So the end outcome of this, more lipid, more degradation of lipid in the citrine, so more deposition of lipid inside the blood. So this is for long term and controlling in the diabetes, and eventually we get the pathophysiology. It is atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis. It has more effect on the cardiovascular system. Then so the controlling the topic of the controlling of insulin, I can say at this level we have two types. The ones when the level of the concentration of glucose in the blood goes up. So this in this way is going to trigger the beta cell to secrete more insulin. The another way for of controlling is the half time of the insulin between 6 to 8 minutes. So that means after about 10 minutes or to 15 minutes, the all of concentration of insulin clear from the blood. Liver is a key player. That's what I explained previously. and this reverse mechanism in exercise. The more energy there is, it's going to be to build more or convert to the lipid inside to store inside the adipose tissue. And the reverse action if there is other than diabetes, if there is no source of energy from the glucose, that's the healthy way. So most of the lipid inside the adipose tissue is degrade to convert to the lipid free fatty acid in the blood, and then this after that to the ketone body by the livers, and this distribute among the other tissues, especially for the brain. But the subsequent pathology of this process is deposit of lipid in bloodstream and atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis occurs. This experiment demonstrates how the or to prove in the diabetes or there is lack of insulin, how the deposit of lipid inside the bloodstream. So there's the curve, so this is the control, this the concentration, and this is the time, this is the day, 1 day, first day. So this is free fatty acid and this glucose. So what happened in the remove pancreatized. So there's the curve is going to be goes up, increase gradually for glucose. What happened for the lipid? That's interesting. The increase is going to be steeper and steeper curve. So that means the rate is going to be so higher than the glucose. Going to be goes up faster. So the unhealthy consequences or disease from the abnormality in the insulin is dehydration and intracellular. There's three mechanisms. So there is osmotic pressure in the intracellular and the extracellular and the blood because accumulation or glucose that give us the higher osmotic pressure. So this draw the fluid and then make the extracellular more fluid. Also, the second in the second mechanism, the renal and the neural tube, also the same thing is going to be due to the osmotic pressure, the secretion of more fluid outside the body. The third mechanism is by the acetic acid. That means they lack insulin, and because the ketone bodies and other mechanisms make the blood more acidic, more H. So this make more H2O. So more excretion of water outside the body. The tissue injury, this is the mechanism. It is not clear, but there is many studies suggest that the neuropathy in the limbs or arteriosclerosis retinopathy, that's because the abnormality, that's what explained, in the metabolism by shifting from the cell utilization of the glucose that's in the healthy way to the utilization of the lipid for the energy. So the cell relies on energy rely on the lipids for energy, utilize more lipids. That make some physiological change in the tissue that leads to the neuropathy. Type 2 diabetes, yes, the main cause is the resistance in the receptors of the insulin receptor. So after that, the beta cell for long term, there's a fatigue occur in the beta cell. due to the in secrete many times and for long times of the insulin, and after that they occur at the peak in the beta cell. Diabetic coma, also there's two mechanisms to occur a coma. The first mechanism is occur from after injecting the diabetic patient with more concentration of insulin. The concentration of glucose is going to be dropped. We know the nervous system rely only on the glucose for the energy. That means when the concentration of glucose drop, so there is no energy or for the source of energy for nervous system, and the nervous system is going to be depressed. The second mechanism, we know that for the diabetes, and because of the ketones acid, so more acidic for the blood, so the blood can be more acidic than the normal individual. So more H, so based on the biophysics, so the more H is going to make the nervous system more depressed that lead to the coma.